Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GitHub Virtual Africa Meetup for March. I'm super excited to be here. Hello.
Hello everyone. All right, thanks AJ. Hi everyone. My name is Martins. Hello AJ. Hi everyone. My name is Martins. Hello AJ. Hi everyone. My name is Martins. Hello AJ. Hi everyone. My name is AJ. Does it sound better now? All right. Sorry about that, everyone. My name is Martins Ewere. There was some feedback with all the mics and screens going on. Sorry about that. So, welcome to another edition of the African Meetup, the March edition. I've been hosting this for a while now, so pretty excited to have everyone join us today. So, specifically today, we would be going through a quick agenda. We have two speakers in the house today. I have Jacqueline Binya. Jacqueline Binya is a developer from Zimbabwe. And I also have Adewale Abati. Adewale Abati is a developer from Nigeria. I'm also Nigerian also. And after Jacqueline and Adewale go through their talk, we'll have some closing remarks, and then we'll have a Zoom breakout room where you can ask the speakers any questions that you have, and we can go from there. Before we get started, I wanted to remind us to take a look at our GitHub direction and documentation around our roadmap, and also we have a public roadmap repository you can go take a look at and see what we're building we've been working on this roadmap from last year and up until March, so it's still current. And also I also wanted to make a quick mention of some of the releases we had on the open source community. We made an highlight of all these releases in February. One that specifically I wanted to point to is GitHub Pages Deploy 4.0 is live. So obviously GitHub Pages helps you to easily launch your websites on github.com. Right, you make your code on GitHub and then you can publish it on GitHub Pages. So you can go take a look at there's a GitHub action that you can use to deploy your code to GitHub Pages. If you've been attending this meetup, as I assume you would have heard about GitHub Actions. If you're in the open source community, you might have also heard about GitHub Actions. So this is the app on the marketplace. We also have a GitHub marketplace where you can check out different applications, and you can actually contribute to some of those applications also. So this is GitHub Pages. Go take a look at it and have fun building. So without much ado, I'm going to introduce the first speaker, Jacqueline Binya. So AJ, if you want to take it away.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Binya. I'm a software developer from Zimbabwe, and my talk today is titled Etiquette when working in diverse and remote-based teams. And I promise you, we're not going to be talking about knives and forks, nor going to be discussing table manners, but we are going to be talking about something way more interesting. So do keep listening. So to give you a little bit of context about myself, I started transitioning into tech in 2018, and I think it took me close to 2 years to become a software developer. So from the very onset, I had a clear goal in mind, which was to be a world-class developer despite the odds. What odds, you might ask? Well, the Zimbabwean tech ecosystem is small. So when I started out, I didn't have a point of reference. I knew I had to be a pioneer of sorts. Well, usually, the tech community you belong to is an incubator of talent where its members share opportunities. It is a knowledge center and greatly impacts on the skill levels of its members. And a strong community will help you form relationships with role models and or mentors, so you're always supported. But sadly, when I started out, I didn't belong to any community. I was pretty much a loner. Secondly, prior to transitioning into tech, I had been a full-time mother to my son. And I was already in my 30s. I think that year I was either 30 or 31, I'm not sure. So as far as I knew, I didn't know anyone with a background similar to mine from my home country or even the African continent as a whole who had achieved what I wanted to do. Thirdly, I didn't have a tech degree, nor do I have any degree for that matter. So I had to overcome the anxiety and the stresses, and the self-doubt of pursuing a career when you don't have, formal education in it. I knew my chances of getting a job would diminish because I didn't have a degree. Fourthly, I am a woman, and statistics show that even women with college degrees in computer science don't have access to equal opportunities in tech. And that happens to be a global phenomenon. That was very, depressing. But despite all the negativity, despite the odds, I was determined to become a developer because I knew and I believe that tech is an equalizer. We've seen many people, diverse people from all sorts of backgrounds make it in tech, be it technical founders, be it influencers, be it even developers. We've seen them have meaningful and rewarding careers in tech. So I also believed that there was a space for me in tech. So in pursuit of my dreams in 2019, I traveled almost 3,000 kilometers to attend a boot camp in Kigali, Rwanda, run by Andela. And Andela at the time was a startup on a mission to create world-class developers in Africa in partnership with big tech companies like Facebook. So in my boot camp, I got to work with the most brilliant minds from the continent, and the exchange of knowledge in that boot camp, I tell you, was literally on steroids. I learned a ton. I mean, that experience basically made my career as a dev. But what I want to emphasize on is that this bootcamp was an in-person event. So let's fast forward into the future. It's 2020. I'm still knocking a lot of doors, looking for opportunities of growth and that first tech job. So beginning of 2020, I started actively contributing to open source projects. Just to refine my skills, just to network and just to keep learning. Then I come across an opportunity that I now describe as the highlight of my tech career. My application to contribute to Creative Commons during the Google season of Docs is accepted. And oddly enough, all this happened in 2020. So 2020 was my worst year ever and my best year ever. I mean, what a contradiction. Creative Commons is an open source organization that is involved in ensuring that creative works and educational resources are used and distributed legally. I was a community member of Creative Commons before making it into Google season of Docs. I contributed to the CC Chooser project, a tool used by creators and educators to choose the correct licenses for their work. But for the Google season of Docs, I had to contribute to a totally new, CC project. I was involved in documenting the CC-based theme. The CC-based theme is essentially a WordPress theme used to build all front-facing sites for Creative Commons. So now I am one of the co-maintainers of that project. And what I would like to emphasize on is that all my work during Google season of Docs was remote. For 3 months, I was part of a remotely distributed and diverse team. So I have insight on what it's like to contribute remotely to open source projects as both a contributor and a maintainer. Let's get started with the meat and bones of this talk. I hope you all got your knives and forks ready because we are talking about etiquette, remember? So, to thrive in remote-based teams, you have to have an appreciation of what I described as the beauty of async communication. Asynchronous communication is when 2 or more people can communicate without the requirement that they be present at the same exact moment in time. Async communication is like a staple in remote work. But in our day-to-day lives, we usually use synchronous communication. In comparison to async communication, which doesn't require the communicators to be present at the same exact moment in time. In synchronous communication, you have to be present at the same time. For example, as an example, say we're having a conversation. I speak to you, then you answer me promptly. Then we have an exchange. Or even in a telephonic conversation, you might be in different places geographically, but the fact that I can talk to you, then you immediately answer back at me. We are having a synchronous conversation. So, in remote workspaces, the premise of async communication is in various communication channels, which might include Slack, Discord, or GitHub issues. So now let's get to the do's of async communication. Firstly, use the correct grammar. When you use the correct grammar, you are easily understood. So take it to mind your spellings. Don't measure your prepositions. I'm guilty of measuring my prepositions, but hey, we all struggle. Use spell checkers and grammar tools. Like, we are developers after all, so there's a tool to help you thrive when it comes to written communication. So you can use tools like Grammarly. I use it myself. I have it installed on Google Chrome. Secondly, be concise and clear. Try to avoid repeating yourself. Just keep things dry. Because when you keep on repeating yourself, and you for example, let's say you're making a bug report to an open source maintainer, or you're requesting a feature, then you submit a very long document. It becomes a little bit overwhelming for other people to go through it. So brevity is key when it comes to written communication. Just try to keep things brief and straight to the point. Thirdly, follow the organizational guidelines for opening pull requests, making bug reports, or feature requests. What I mean is, most organizations usually have GitHub templates if they're using GitHub. So a GitHub template is usually a markdown file with the structure of a document. So it provides you guidance on how to prepare a document. So make sure you follow the recommended structure. Believe me, it goes a long way. It makes work easy for everyone. Now, as for the don'ts in async communication, like, don't send a torrent of messages. Open source maintainers or your remote team members might live in a totally different time zone. So if you don't see them promptly replying, they are probably maybe sleeping or doing something else. So yeah, be mindful of that. Or if it's the case of open source maintainers, some of them usually have day jobs. So they might not be able to get back to you. But once you click send, someone will eventually get back to you. Someone will read your message and get back to you. Have faith. Thirdly, to thrive in diverse teams, you have to be a good human. Yeah, we are building beautiful software, but we are humans first. So now, the questions when you're working with other people are, do they know who you are? And how well do you play with others? Those are the questions that should come to your mind. You should introspect first. But hopefully I'm going to give you tips that will help you formulate habits of being a good human if you struggle with that. So firstly, your profile your profile on communication channels like GitHub, Slack, or Discord gives people a first impression about you. So make sure it's the right impression. Always include an avatar and choose the right one depending on your personality. I've seen some people use scenic backgrounds for avatars. I've seen some use animes. I've seen some use cartoon characters. Just have an avatar and make sure it's the right one that tells a story about who you are. Believe me, it goes a long way. In some instances, it becomes a conversation starter. It makes you relatable to other people. Thirdly, build relationships with your team members. Be polite and be kind. Take an interest in other people. Help other people win. Share your knowledge, be it by blogging or giving talks or presentations, etc. what you have to take into account is that most communication in remote and or open source work is recorded. So your good work, your good deeds will eventually get noticed, and believe me, you will reap reward. Now, thirdly, you should use the right pronouns when addressing other people in your team. What are pronouns, you might ask? Well, the Oxford Dictionary says a pronoun is a word that can function as a noun phrase used by itself, and that refers either to the participants in the discourse, e.g. I, you, or to someone or something mentioned elsewhere in the discourse, e.g. she, it, this. I know that's quite a mouthful, but for my visual learners, my tribe, I got you covered. I've got an example here on the screen. It's a living example because that is a screenshot of my Twitter profile. So just underneath my Twitter handle, there's a sentence which reads, I defy, my edges are gonna lay, then in brackets with she / he. So the words enclosed in brackets, those are what are called pronouns. So they might come in the form of he or him or they. So it's most likely that when you're working in a diverse team, you will meet all sorts of people who prefer to use, different pronouns than those maybe you would assume they use. But you have to be mindful to use the right pronoun. I know it's a little bit hard because in most African languages, we don't use pronouns. So I know it's hard to make that mental shift, is already most of us don't even speak English natively, but you have to put in the effort. Just call people, address people using the right pronouns. Now coming to the don'ts. I try not to talk about religion and politics. You don't want to be a gaslighter. You don't want to cause conflict or disagreements. If you can avoid it, don't talk about either religion or politics. And finally, don't be pretentious. Be yourself. You are valid. Your contribution matters, as authentic and as raw as it is. So go ahead and thrive in those remote spaces. In our last section, we're going to discuss virtual meetings. So it's highly unlikely that you can ever avoid these, considering the peculiar times we live in. So for the do's of conducting yourself during virtual meetings, if you are nervous and you know yourself that you struggle with speaking publicly, always prepare in advance, hydrate, drink lots of water, and have maybe a bottle of water on standby, and try to speak slowly so that you are understood. And use good lighting and sound. And what's important to note is that your light source should always be ahead of you. Otherwise, if it's behind you, it's hard for people to see you. And if you can't maybe afford to invest in maybe a ring light or maybe any other form of lighting that is used to enhance spaces where recordings are carried out, you can use natural lighting. It works pretty well. The only rule is make sure the light source is ahead of you. Now, one tip I always give to people who are going maybe for virtual interviews or community meetings, maybe for the first time, I always tell them this. Always prepare a quirky intro about yourself, because oftentimes you will be asked to introduce yourself. So it helps when you are always prepared. And lastly, you must know your tools, because we use various tools when facilitating online meetings. Depending on your organization, you might use either Zoom or you might use Google Meet. So just know the tool you use in your daily work life. So maybe with a group of friends, you can practice giving presentations, giving talks. Just make sure you know your tools, because you can't avoid maybe giving a presentation in the times we live in. It's something you have to know. And as for the don'ts, this one is easy. Don't be late, especially if you're the one who's giving a presentation. But most of us, unfortunately, struggle with this one. In conclusion, what I would like to say is that genius is often just preparation and lots of hard work. The tips I've shared are by no means exhaustive. So keep learning, keep exploring, and thank you for taking time to listen to my talk. Have a lovely day.
All right, thank you, Jackie. That was a good talk on having the proper etiquette for remote work and doing remote contributing to open source work. So thank you so much, Jackie, for that. So we'll move right on. I think my one of my favorite part of the hard talk was trying to be a human, because like we're all humans trying to figure out a way to work together and push open source work forward, or push our own private projects forward. So be a human, be nice, and also use the right address people by the right pronouns. And like she also said, have a quick bio of yourself to always introduce yourself to people that you collaborate with in the open source community. So with that said, our next speaker is Adewale Abati. So just a quick bio. Adewale is also known as Ace. He's a front-end engineer and developer advocate at Flutterwave. Flutterwave is a Nigerian global online payment gateway based in Lagos, Nigeria. And also, Adewale is also very passionate about the web. He's passionate about open source and the overall developer community. He's also an avid gamer, so we'll be talking about some of his favorite games after the session. And also, he has he does technical writings and public speaking. He also has a YouTube channel, so he will give all of those plugs during his talk. So with that said, let's get to Adewale's talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GitHub Virtual Africa Meetup for March. I'm super excited to be here, and I look forward to speaking today. To get right into it, today I'm going to be talking about building for the world from Nigeria with open source. And to do this, I'm going to be taking one of my projects that I maintain, an open source project called the Made in Nigeria open source project. We're going to be doing a case study of this project today and see how we can get some data from it to better see how Nigerians are building solutions, open source projects for the world. So let's get right into it. Before I go too far, I need to introduce myself and give a little bit of background into what I do. My name is Adewale Abati, but a lot of people call me Ace or Ace Kid, as the case may be. And I'm currently a front-end engineer and also developer advocate at Flutterwave, a global payments gateway service out of Lagos, Nigeria. I'm also a web engineer. I am very passionate about the web. I feel like the web is the future because basically you can access the web from anywhere, your mobile phone, your PlayStation, your fridge, smart devices and everything. I feel like the web, the potential for the web is limitless. And as we continue to move forward, technology-wise, we're going to continue taking advantage of the web. It's never going to go extinct. So I'm a big fan of the web and what we can do on the web. So I'm also an open sourcer. I started, contributed to open source in 2016. I started with a friend's project, and I was like, you know what, this is a great way for me to learn, network with people, build interesting projects myself, and just basically be a part of that network and community to share information and knowledge. Just be a part of the community, basically. I'm also a YouTuber. I share my experiences on YouTube. You can definitely check it out. You can follow me on Twitter or check out my YouTube and see some of the videos I share. I do videos on tech lifestyle, some coding videos, some tech videos as well. It's basically a channel that covers my experiences as a tech person out of Lagos, Nigeria. a brief background to the project we're talking about today is the Made in Nigeria repo, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to tell you a story before we get too far. Story was when I started contributing to open source. Like I said, I knew a lot of people that were building interesting solutions, but there were also a lot of people that were not sure about the community at the time. That was in 2016 in Nigeria. Due to this, like lack of connectivity, we can compare that year right now to the number of meetups that we have, number of communities that you can reach out to here in Lagos. So at that point in time, there were a lot of speculations, there were a lot of talks about Nigerians just consuming content like libraries, open source projects, and we didn't have the skill or talent yet to actually build these solutions. I disagreed strongly because I knew amazing developers that were building stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a step out to see and gather a list of people that I know that are building solutions that are not just for local use, but can be used anywhere in the world, basically. Like one of the criteria for this project is that it has to be have global relevance, has to be created by a Nigerian, have global relevance, and also to be able to confirm that this project is in fact legit and being used by people. There's a requirement that used to be 5+ stars, but now it has been increased to 10+ stars, just to increase the quality of projects that make it into this list. Late last year, the project eventually made it into the Made in Africa collection, where you see interesting projects that are built out of Africa. So you should definitely check that out and check out other projects in the collection as well. You can visit the website that lists all these projects at madeinnigeria.dev, and you can also send a PR or just take a look at the repo itself at github.com/xkid/made-in-Nigeria. So why is it important to do this? When you look back at GitHub's 2020 state of the Octoverse, you realize that Nigeria is actually a growing community when it comes to contributors on GitHub. I don't think this is something that is just happening out of the blues. I used to be a developer advocate at Ingressive, where we built a community of student developers that were being trained with how to use GitHub, Microsoft tools, contribute to open source, and just be a part of the community. So this has been efforts of so many communities, so many people that are looking to share knowledge, and also the support that has been rendered by some organizations, GitHub inclusive, to make sure that people are parts of communities and also have access to free knowledge on the internet. A lot of this is done through open source and sharing free resources to developers that want to improve their skill set and be a part of the community to learn and make impact as well. So it's no surprise to me personally to see that Nigeria is actually one of the top countries and regions that is increasing year by year on GitHub, as stated by GitHub's state of the Octoverse. So definitely check that out, octoverse.github.com. So let's get right into the stats about what this project has done so far. It's been 4 years. I've been collating this project for 4 years now, and it's just me. There have been 95 contributors that have helped add other projects to this list. We have 102 creators in total that have been able to also add 186 projects. So when you go to the website right now, you can find 186 projects that are built by Nigerians for global use, and it can be used anywhere, literally anywhere. So like I mentioned, the project has been running for 4 years, and in that period of time, a lot of people have tried to just have a copy of the project or fork it to be able to contribute their own. That's 272 forks and 477 stars as the actual stats related to the project. Now we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into what the project actually tells us, like the content of the project itself, not just the repo GitHub data. Is what does this project actually mean? A lot of these projects, a lot of them have grown in popularity. They've shown that they are relevant and useful to the global world. And then looking at this project, we have a combined total number of 49,231 stars. When you look at all the projects in this repo and you combine them together, they sum up to 49,231 stars. That's almost 50K. That's a lot. I mean, I don't know what the average is, because we have 186 projects, like I mentioned, and we have 49,231 stars. I think that's a lot. Also, because of this repo and, of course, the importance of the project themselves, the relevance of the project themselves, we've been able to share and collaborate with people this is a project that you can contribute to, and more people have been able to contribute to this project themselves. You have people that are new to open source and I don't know how to contribute. I don't know what project to contribute to. A recommendation I normally give is that it's easier for you to contribute to a project that that you use already, or that that, this is my friend that is building this thing, or I know this person building this thing. You can reach out for support. You can say, I'm trying to do this on this project, but I don't know how to do it, and I see that you are the creator. Can you guide me? You get to learn a lot from that platform. You get to learn a lot, taking out time to actually learn and communicate with someone that is not so far away. The person is not in the United States. He's not a foreigner. It's someone that you're very familiar with and you can reach out to. And of course, in some cases, there are also foreigners that contribute to this project. All of them do not come from Made in Nigeria repo, but the Made in Nigeria repo has been able to encourage people to just find this project and contribute to them as well as they can. So across 196 projects that we have right now on the repo, 1,049 total contributors have had, made a comment or two to these projects. So yeah, this is where it gets a little bit serious. And when you're like, oh, this is why we should actually take data a little bit seriously, is when you realize that as good as this project has been growing, as fast as it has been growing, it doesn't really paid out when it comes to women interaction and women participation. Only 3 out of 95 contributors that have added, one project or the other to this repo are actually women, which I think is very sad. It shows that we need to provide a more enabling platform to encourage women to be a part of open source. It begs a lot of questions myself as a maintainer, like, do I need to change my approach to outreach to reach more women to actually show that they can contribute to this repo? It's not a male thing. Women can be a part of this open source project. Women can be encouraged to take advantage of the platforms that they have. They can be encouraged to share their projects, share projects of their friends without any limitation. It also boils down to, the community itself. Are the community very, supportive? Are they encouraging? I know a lot of amazing communities already. I know She Code Africa. I know a few others that have been dedicated to, train and support women, learning how to code and also participating in open source. But when I saw that, this number is really, really low, 3 out of 95 women, it begs the question, what more can we do to make this platform more supportive and and encourage more women to actually participate in contributing to this repo and share their project as well. One of the reasons I'm actually doing this kind of talk is to encourage more people, provide more awareness, more outreach for people to see this project and encourage more of their friends and colleagues to actually contribute. So when you look at this and realize that, just 3.75% of contributors are women, it kind of explains the next slide where only 4 out of 1 and 2 creators are women. So the question now comes, how can we encourage more women to not only contribute to the repo, the Made in Nigeria repo, but to also feel very comfortable to share their projects that they build either at work or in their silo, on their own, to actually feel more comfortable sharing this project with the world, sharing this project with the rest of their colleagues, and get more collaborators to it. So we realized that we need to create a more enabling platform, not only to encourage and support women to feel more comfortable sharing their projects, creating projects, being a part of open source community, and just feeling more comfortable to put their work out there. I think this is very important because right now it's very disappointing for me personally as a maintainer, seeing that out of all the creators that in this kind of repo, we have 1 and 2 creators and only 4 are women. So I'm doing this kind of talk, like I mentioned earlier, to be able to get more people to be aware of this, more women, more developers, and see that we can actually share more of these projects that covers as much of the demographic as possible. So we as a community need to come together to think about, this is the way that we can balance out this huge gap between people that are creating and participating in open source, and try to balance this out, because we cannot continue to have this difference in demographic generally. When you also look at it, you realize that a few organizations out of Nigeria as well are building open source projects, but we also need more of these companies to step up as well to build more open source projects, but also share projects that they build internally as fulfilling a particular goal that can serve other companies in the ecosystem and encourage them to build solutions faster and scale faster as well. In this repo, there are a few popular projects. One of the most popular ones is Chakra UI. Chakra UI has been growing incredibly, so fast, so well in the last year. If I remember correctly, about this time last year when I did the talk on something similar, Chakra UI was at about 4,000 stars and 30 contributors, give or take, and now the project has continued to grow very fast, and now it has 16,000 stars and 344 contributors. That's a huge community right there. It's a very interesting project. It's a simple, modular, and accessible component library for React applications, and a lot of people out there are building on it. So Chakra UI is built by an Nigerian and is used by developers from all over the world. People building on it, people using it in their production applications, people building libraries on top of it, and I feel like it's amazing, and it's just an example of the kind of projects that can come out of any part of the world, but in this case, Nigeria. There are also some very interesting other ones that are very popular as well. We have Image AI, which is a Python library that is built to empower developers to build applications and systems with self-contained computer vision capabilities. We have Altai, a sleek GraphQL client app for querying GraphQL servers. We also have the Magic Grid, which is a simple lightweight JavaScript library for dynamic grid layouts. We have so many other amazing projects here, but I can just like list everyone here. So definitely check out the project; it's amazing. But like I mentioned earlier, Chakra UI is one of the most popular ones, and it's growing rapidly right now. You can check it out. A lot of people, if you use React especially, a lot of people are building on it, and it's like the wave right now. It's built by Nigerians, so definitely check it out. So the next thing is, what languages are used to build this project, this open source project that are used globally. And JavaScript is like right on top of there. It's one of the most popular tools that are being used. People build love JavaScript libraries, tools and the rest of that. HTML and CSS right behind that. I think this indicates that a lot of open source projects that are built in this community is built for the web. A few of them include Java, Python, mobile and likes. But most open source projects coming out of this side of the world is targeted towards the web. Yeah, as we start to wrap this up, I need to give a shout out to the creators that are the ones powering this repo in itself. One of my goals about this project in itself is to put these names out there to ensure that people are aware that there's talent in the community, there's talent in Nigeria, there's talent everywhere, and we need to start presenting these opportunities that developers from this side of the world as well can also build world-class projects, can build amazing projects, and these names are just proof of that. Like, especially for others that are watching right now, if you're a developer out of this side of the world, you know that you can also build amazing solutions. You can build solutions that can be used somewhere at the other end of the world, and it's not limited to just where you are. You can think outside the box. You can build projects that solve your own problems and can solve another person's problem, in Australia or somewhere else at the other end of the world, if you get what I mean. So these projects, these creators are the ones that right now are on the list, have their projects on the repo, and are building amazing solutions. The Creator Cloud is basically, showcasing number of projects that they've added to this repo. We have a co-developer. I think he has about 10, 12, if not more projects. We have Ewere, Adewale. Our projects are also amazing. I'm a fan of one of our projects as well. We have so many names there. Jacqueline Binya, also, creator of the Chakra UI. We have Bad Coda, who is also a creator of TensorJS, which is a new, headless JavaScript library that was created, I think, about 2 weeks ago. So definitely check these guys out. There are people that organizations can reach out to. There are people that you can reach out to as well as a developer, to collaborate, contribute to their projects, and just basically, check this out. I also want to say a huge thanks to the contributors, because without them, this list would not have made it, this repo would not have made it to this point. We've been able to grow from me just gathering these repos by myself to different people sending in PRs, sending in pull requests to actually add projects that are amazing, that they think are amazing, and that meet the criteria to be created by a Nigerian, have 10+ stars, and also of global relevance. So these contributors, to appreciate them, that they are the ones that actually have supported this project all along over the 4 years and make it what it is today. So this is one of the most important parts of this entire talk that I've been giving so far. I have a few key takeaways that I'm like, okay, are these things that we should take away from this repo, from this presentation? But at the same time, I want people out there to also think about the data that I presented, because I feel like you will also have like a new specific insight of your own and say, okay, what are the things that you actually took away from this and that we can work on as a community to not only showcase the talent from this side of the world, but to also grow our skills, participate in open source, contribute to this project, and also learn and spread the word as well. So I'm going to just share 3 of my own key takeaways that I think we can work on. I'm definitely open to chatting about this with any other person. It could be in chat, we could talk about this on social media, but basically these are the takeaways I want us to, at least from my point of view, to start with as we move forward with this project. I think the first and the most obvious one is that we need to provide a platform that supports and encourages women to share their projects, feel comfortable participating in open source communities. We need to create a very enabling platform and continue to support women in tech. The next thing is JavaScript is right on top. A lot of these projects are powered by JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript today, I think you can get started contributing to open source projects. HTML, CSS, those are things we learned from the beginning, especially if you're a web engineer. You can start contributing to open source. It doesn't have to be something complex. And since if you're in this community already, you know some of these people, you know some of these names on the screen, you can reach out to them. You can start contributing by just, asking for support from these people about their projects, how you can get started. And I'm sure if not most of them, will be open to also supporting you and guiding you, through your open source journey. So definitely, get started on that end. And the last one is that talent is everywhere. There are people contributing from Lagos, Lokoja, Abuja. Some are Nigerians that are outside the country, but they are building these solutions for global use. And I feel like if we as developers have been feeling, stumped or can I build this kind of solution? Can I build the next Vue.js? Can I build React? That kind of thing. I feel like location doesn't matter, and we as a people, there's talent everywhere, and you should feel that way as well. That you can build solutions that can power the next big things in the world. So start contributing, start participating, be a part of the community, take advantage of these platforms, and just be the next big thing. And also, the organizations out there should know that this talent is also here. It's one of my important goals about this project is that people should know that there's talent here. You can talk with these creators, contributors, and basically be a part of the community down here to continue to grow the community and also get value from the community as well. So those are my key takeaways, and I'm looking forward to discussing more of these people, organizations, and just getting these names and these projects out there as well. So thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this talk as much as I did. I hope I was able to share some insights that are useful and people motivated to contribute to open source now, seeing that their colleagues, their friends, popular names that they already know started from somewhere and are building amazing solutions for global use. So if you have any questions, you can definitely mail on Twitter. And before I wrap up, I would like to give a shout out to Lorna and Adewale Abati. They are both data analysts, and they kind of kickstarted this entire project, supporting me to be able to share some of these data insights with the rest of the world. Like, this is the information that we can get from this project. So it's not just a project sitting down in that corner. Thanks to their help, I was able to get started with this and start collecting this data. So thank you so much, Lorna and Adewale. And thank you so much to everyone that has watched this so far. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope if you take away, I hope you are ready to start with open source. I hope you're ready to be part of the community. And yes, I'm definitely open to answering your questions or having a discussion about this after the talk. So thank you so much for having me. I'll see you next time.
Wow, that was such a great talk. Thank you, Ace. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so this, I really loved, one of the parts I loved about the talk was your key takeaways. I love the fact that you mentioned that there's talent everywhere. I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Africa. I grew up there, so it's so encouraging to me, so inspiring to me to see so much good stuff coming out of Africa, coming out of Nigeria, even with all the the disadvantages that we have historically. So it was such a good talk. I also love the fact that you mentioned how JavaScript is widely used in most of all these open source software and projects. So I know some people are asking on YouTube about what languages to start. Definitely check out that JavaScript. It's a pretty popular language, an easy language to learn and use to contribute to open source software. And definitely, I loved the fact that you mentioned how just a small percentage of the contributors on Made in Nigeria is just under 5% are women. So definitely we need to figure out how to make technology, the overall technology space, more comfortable and easy for women to contribute into and get started with. So we'll be getting into some discussions. Let me see here if this is gonna be on Zoom. All right, so we're gonna go on the on our discussion page to just talk more. If you have questions, feel free to join us there. Just go to github.co/Africa discussion, and then let us know if you have any specific questions that you have. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be here again in February, around February 20th for another round, and we want to continue to engage all developers in Africa, wherever you are from Africa, whether it's Kenya or Zimbabwe or Nigeria. We want to engage with you and see the work you're doing and continue to be there for you as much as possible. So it looks like we'll be jumping on Zoom after now. So I think we'll have the link in the description on YouTube. So join us there and we would see you shortly. So thank you to the speakers. Thank you everyone for coming up, and we'll see you in Zoom. Thank you. Bye-bye.